So let's shift over to our book, and our book is one by Joseph Nazel, and this is one where again the cover is freaking awesome. I love this cover. This is Death for Hire. Came out in 1975, and what it's basically about is you got a drug pusher who hires a couple of teams to um, kill off an ADA, assistant district attorney, then who's been on his tail, but they botched the job. Two teams mess up the job. And so thus the drug pusher has to clean up the mess that they made and eliminate any ties that could lead back to him. So the nice thing about this is uh, Joseph Nazel, like when we talk about, well, it came out on Holloway House in 1975, and I always talk about Holloway House had Don Goins, they had Iceberg Slim, they had Charlie Avery Harris, who were all exceptional writers. But without a doubt, Joseph Nazel just knew how to write good, intriguing material, man. This particular one, it was a page turner from start to finish. Typically, depending on how good a Blaxploitation paperback is, it'll take me maybe about 2 weeks to get through it. I finished this one in 3 days simply because it was that good. And it's four main characters in it. You got this drug pusher by the name of Sugarman. The names this episode are just freaking fire. Sweet Stick, Sugarman. The two teenage killers were one named Turtle, one named Tracy, and then also built into the story is this reporter named Spider Armstrong. So what happens is Sugarman hires Turtle and Tracy to kill off the 80. Tracy kind of gets scared and nervous, and thus, when Turtle kills the dude, Tracy runs out on him, and so as a result, they kind of bring the heat down, police in the whole nine, and Spider, as a newspaper reporter, hears about it, tries to get in on the story. Sugarman realizes Tracy and Turtle messed up the job, wants to take them out and eliminate any traces back to him. So that's the story in and of itself. And again, just a really good read. But more than anything for me, what really led me to wanting to read this is this cover. Now, the one that I have this one. This is, I think, cover number 3 because like, and here's how I kind of can tell with Holloway House whether they're original covers or not. In the early days, like back in the 70s when stuff came out, most of their books were like $1.50. You'll say $1.50 as the price. Then kind of when they hit that second run, it might be like 225, 250, 175, 195, kind of in there. And then this is, third one is for 350. So I think this might have been a reprint almost as late as the 90s. And you can see it doesn't look as good as this one here. But like I said, Joseph Nazel's writing, man, just read a couple of passages to you because he always has just great dialogue and intriguing material. So where is the first one? All right, so this is one where there's this like Sugarman was the drug pusher, kind of doing well, but he goes into the store owned by a neighborhood store owned by this guy named Mike, and he's leaving it. So he says, well, I'll check you later, Mike. Got to get out here in these streets and see what I can shake out of the trees. Ain't no trees in this neighborhood, Mike laughed. There's always trees bearing fruit where I walk. Sweet. And then Mike stared at Sugarman's back and watched him slide behind the wheel of the rolls. As hard as he worked and as many risks as he took working in the ghetto, he would never be able to buy anything close to a Rolls. He would, for the rest of his life, be relegated to 2-year-old Chevys. It wasn't fair that someone who fed drugs into an already dying people should get over so well. So, thought that was pretty cool. And then here's another one. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So there's one where Sugarman is trying to kind of find out what's going on and where to track down Tracy and Turtle. But here we go. They couldn't hide from him for long. He had spread a lot of money around that evening, and that money would pay off where loyalty and friendship would not. He had learned that over the years. Money in the right amounts could buy off anybody, especially the desperate. And he was surrounded by desperate people. Love it, man. Freaking love it. Joseph Nazel's writing is just awesome. And you may remember that one of my viewers, I think it was, I want to make sure I give credit to who the credit's due, but I think it was Bobby Wobby 13. But one of my viewers several episodes back mentioned to me that Joseph Nazel is the father of the Arabian Prince from NWA. And turns out that the Arabian Prince, along with Ice-T, wrote a graphic novel called Death for Hire. Can't find it, but they were supposed to turn it into an animated series. And from the little research that I did, supposedly there were going to be the other rappers involved in that animated series. Like things that Busta Rhymes was supposed to be involved in, doing voiceovers and things like that. That still hasn't come to fruition, so I don't know if that is still going to come through or not. But just kind of interesting, man, when you go down these rabbit trails and all this different information comes to light. So I kind of love it. All right, so that is again our book, Death for Hire, Joseph Nazel.